game open up. Alright, I just logged in. Reset time happened, so we're gonna run some dailies. First, before that happens, I am going to come over here to my target. So, this is my loadout that I use. It's a pretty good loadout. I've tried everything. I've looked up every electricity, DPS, and healer loadout that you can think of on YouTube, and I took what they had and moved everything around and just kept on running stuff and sparring targets at a constant. This is the absolute best that I could come up with. So of course the sparring targets are only 126, but this is a rotation. I consider that one rotation is what I consider that to be. This is single target. I do 10-second intervals. 55-second intervals are stupid, so I don't understand why everybody wants to use that. And the reason why I say that is you will never fight a group of anything ads for 55 seconds, and if you are, well, then I don't know. Yeah, you normally are never going to spend that long. You may spend 20 seconds fighting a group of ads. The only thing you're going to spend that much time on is boss. So anyways, this is just one little single target, a little idea of what the damage is. No boost at all. I do have all my artifacts that I use to 160. 138k. I usually get about 150. Usually around 150 on a single target. Sparring target. We'll run into the league hall. And we'll test it on more sparring targets. You can get an idea of the type of damage that it does versus groups of enemies rather than just a single target. Because that's where you're going to get most of your damage, is the ads. Alright, I'll kind of explain this a little bit too, for newer players that really doesn't understand what's going on, and they just look at random things and try them out. So your power interaction, that is a really big part of the game that everybody should know about. So you got your electrify thing, and those ping ones will be gone as soon as I'm done here. So you got your electrify the enemies. Your overcharge, let me kind of explain this a little bit. So whenever you use it, it charges one enemy, and as your other powers hit, then those powers charge that enemy until he basically explodes, hitting everything. And I'd like to say, I can go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and as soon as I hit back around to the 3, it bursts, which that's what I consider one rotation, is all the way across, and then 1, 2, 3. Now every one of my powers that I'm using are all to do with electrified enemies, besides electrogenesis. But you get what I'm saying. Is I use those power interactions for my damage output. Now you can use Tesla Ball and it hits around 30k with no power interaction. And with the power interaction, you know, you get about 50k damage, which is sometimes more than that. Just depends on your crits and all that. Voltiac Blast is better than Electrostatic Bomb, and the reason why Electrostatic Bomb was being used by a lot of people in the third slot instead of Voltiac Blast is because the Void Gazer artifact here, it as you can see, it says below penetrating gaze, electricity, polarized. That means that it will polarize all the enemies. So that's the reason why a lot of people were using that, and it was hitting good. I tried it out, I stuck with it for a little bit, but I switched back to here because I am hitting very hard with Circuit Breaker. And I've ran Circuit Breaker and Megavolt against each other in several raids and everything, and yeah, Megavolt seems like it hits a lot, which whenever you first let it out, it does crits most of the time for about 28k, but after the third tick on the third damage tick on the enemies, you're only hitting maybe 1k, 1.9k, so it's really not that great to where you can boost your trinket with Circuit Breaker, and then you can electrify and continue the rotation with Circuit Breaker, and it deals much more damage using your regular loadout that way. Also, may I add too that the new soda gives you 1% might when used. This here will also boost your damage and power and everything. All that added together along with the trinket, which gives us 6.2k might. So all that together along with the Circuit Breaker, you're hitting really hard. I mean, I can hit 68k on multiple targets at once, and within 10 seconds, sometimes with Circuit Breaker, I can hit around 700k damage, which is really good in 10 seconds. So, now I'm going to get to this. Show you guys the loadout versus these enemies, regular. No boost or anything. And you can tell if you're boosted by looking at underneath your name up there by the little splatter. There will be a little target, not a target, but a crosshair, which means that you're boosted. So I wanted to do this several times so that you can see you normally get around 400k whenever you have to put Tesla and Electrogenesis on. You usually get about 400k, but the second part of the rotation you usually hit about 450k. It's about average. So 450k, that's about average with this loadout, and that is 10 seconds. So, you know, some of those videos you see, like I seen this guy, he had this loadout here. I've showed this before to a couple friends. Okay, yeah, it was static push. Okay. Now, I did not understand this loadout because, I mean, whenever you're using it, it was the storm. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, okay, this is it. So this guy had this loadout, and people were just praising him, giving him so much praise on his loadout. I don't understand it. Okay, maybe for a PlayStation player it is a little different, but for me, I like to go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like to go 1, 4, 3, all mixed. So let's check it out. You'll see what I'm saying. See, now we got to go to 2 because number 1's not off. To me, it's all mixed up. Look at the damage. That's what I'm saying. To me, I would say this is not a very good loadout. And the other guy, he was getting maybe 300k damage, but he was like 271. It was making, 310k damage or so. That's not very good. So this is the loadout that I use for the ones that were wondering, or somebody who needs help. Now we're gonna run DR. Hopefully I can go in his damage. If not, I can go in his heals. And you can get an idea of how the healing is. Hopefully this does not take too long. I would very much like for this to hurry. I'll cut the waiting out. I'm gonna do some maybe do a little bit of dailies before we get into the DR. Okay. Pretty long name. That guy. Looks like it's gonna be some pretty big hitters. We're all healers. For those of you that don't know, I've been away from DC for a little bit. I've been back now for a while, enough to get to 68, but I am saving up for the Omnipotence back piece, so my gear is mainly drops, not really stuff from the vendor. Just a few pieces because I really needed to get my CR up enough to where, I could actually do something. the wait is too long, I will try to shorten the video. I know it's pretty dead around this hour. It is just now past, almost an hour past reset. It's 3:50 a.m. where I'm at, so it is pretty late, or early, I should say. Also, for if any of the dudes watching this that you know, been trying to get me to come into their league, I'm pretty much a solo player. Like, this is my daily, everyday thing. I pretty much pug everything elite, even, and of course it's tough, but you know, I'm not going to leave this league that I'm in, even though, you know, it's pretty dead right now, but usually, you know, there's 15 people plus on, and I don't know, what the hell is this guy talking about? Invite, I'll leave. I have no fucking clue what he's talking about. He'll leave. I'm pretty sure these guys will probably boost with an Omega. Everybody does. I'll probably pop one when I get in there, just so everybody's on the same playing level. Also, I'd like to say too that I actually just now switched to this power. Whenever I got back, I decided, you know, it was time for a change from the munitions, so I completely had to restart over on my gear on healing. Alright, yeah, for video purposes, I wanted to make sure everybody's on the same playing level. Hopefully this goes pretty well. I've actually never heard of any of these leagues. So many new ones are popping up because of the SM on its way. He's already popping his specials. Come on, guys. That shit's broken right now. I've literally tried to walk through that thing and nothing. You You can't get through it. There's some special way, and I'm not sure how to do it. Alright, so I've not used any of my supercharged yet. Trying to save it for the boss area for now. Well, I did not mean to hit that. That was my first supercharge to use. 40k on a regular hit. The circuit breaker. That's definitely not the highest that I've hit with it. I can get a 68k damage with the crit on it. I guess the damage ain't too bad so far. I mean, I am going up against the 271 here, but a little bit of advice on this. You know, you want to try to target an enemy that has the most life with this loadout, because whenever you're overcharging an enemy, you don't want him to die before the burst. And if he does die before it bursts, then you will not get the damage from hitting the enemies around him or nothing like that. You know, you won't get that burst if you don't hit that. Keeps pushing me out. That one almost hit a 50k. Not too bad, I suppose. Yeah, I'm getting skunked in damage now. There ain't no telling how many. You know, I mean, he is 271, so. I'm gonna let this play out and see what happens. So I just realized this guy, he's actually pretty smart. Like he's really smart. He's using me to get his damage with the Eye of Gemini. And what that does is whenever he uses a small supercharge near me or around me, all the damage that I do is added to the damage that the Eye of Gemini does. So a percentage of my damage he's actually benefiting from every single time he does that. And he's watching me, and whenever he sees me use my supercharge, he's using his supercharge near me to benefit from my damage. So that is really smart idea. If you have a small supercharge like a 25%er, that would be a very good artifact. I just wanted to say that, let that out. Went from 1,000,000 damage behind him to now only 200k. I'm actually not sure what power he is though. I think he might be water. Judging by the way he's moving his arms and stuff, I think he's water. I cannot wait to get that omnipotence back piece. I'm gonna get it before survival mode. So far, it's been a pretty good run. Uh, the controller is really unnecessary, but that may be the only thing he can do. I don't know. They should have made his mouth move. It would have looked so much better. A little trick to this guy: whenever he goes to the puddle, that's a really good time to use supercharge, like this right here, because he doesn't move, and you know, he's not moving. It's a little easier to make sure he stays in one spot. Maybe I can get one more circuit breaker in here. Get this shadow bat off of my healer. Hopefully this healer can keep up with it. Oh. We might be able to get another circuit breaker in before this is done. Awesome. Alright, so this is the end results. That's very good damage. I mean, that's electricity at, you know, here he's 271. I mean, he's pretty good. He was, you know, out DPSing me there for a while. That just shows you electricity can keep up. It can outdo. I mean, I've outdone even munitions. I was munitions for the longest time, and I like electricity better. It's more to it. Plus, it's healing, and I really need we really need the healing right now. So, yeah, it's my video on electricity damage. This is my loadout. Go ahead and show you my. This is where I got my skill points spent. I went to health just for the extra survivability. And you know, you always hear people say, "Oh, it's because he's got so much skill points is the reason why he out damages people." That is not true. Not true at all. As soon as you get the 235 mic, your crit magnitude you're literally doing as much as you can do, as anyone else can do, that has, you know, like 300 and something skill points. It's all the same. Once you get those 3 right there filled, it's all about the loadout, the skill where you set your player. You know, like I was saying, the using the overcharge, you have to think about it. You want to use it on the enemy with the most health, and whenever you actually use your circuit breaker, you want to save it till you have your trinket, your soda. I mean, as many boosts as you can whenever you use your circuit breaker. And like I said, you know, I hit 68k on multiple targets all at once, and that, you know, that's a lot of damage sometimes. I don't think I hit 68k anywhere in here. Probably didn't this run. Combat intervals are pretty hard to go by whenever you're actually fighting enemies. Uh, that's it, man. I mean, that's my loadout. That's how it is. Try it out. So give me a thumbs up if you like it. Sorry if it was too long. I do talk a lot, but this is one of my very first videos for DC combat wise. I have videos of my base, but I would rather do stuff like this for now on. That's it.